Hi, first grade, it's Mrs. Todd. Today we're going to do one of my favorite lessons. Well, some of it. We'll do my bee lesson. Remember the bee? What kind of bug is a bee? How many legs does he have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He does have 2 wings, 2 antennas, and you can't really tell on my puppet, but a bee does have 3 body parts. The bee is an insect. Other insects would be the ant, the grasshopper, the praying mantis. I have a praying mantis puppet at school. If you would take your pretend bee on your finger and make a steady beat. Listen to this rhyme. Bee, bee, bumblebee, stung a man upon his knee, stung a pig upon his snout. Goodness me, if you're not out. This is a choosing rhyme. If we were in class, we'd play this in a circle. But let me take my 4 pretend people here. Bee, bee, bumblebee, stung a man upon his knee, stung a pig upon his snout. Goodness me, if you're not out. Bee, bee, bumblebee, stung a man upon his knee, stung a pig upon his snout. Goodness me, if you're not out. Bee, bee, bumblebee, stung a man upon his knee, stung a pig upon his snout. Goodness me, if you're not out. Bee, bee, bumblebee. What rhythm was on this beat? Bee, bee, bumblebee. There was 1 syllable. 1 syllable would be a ta. Big musicians say quarter note. Bee, bee, bumblebee. What goes on this beat? Ta or tt? Bee, bee, bumblebee. Tt. Big musicians say 8th notes. Bee, bee, a ta. And what goes on the very first beat? Bee. Ta, ta, ti, ti, ta. What comes next in the rhyme? Stung a man upon his knee. Do I need to change this beat, or does it stay the same? Stung a man upon his knee. It's still a ta. How about this beat? Stung a man upon his knee. Does it stay a tt, or do I need to change it? It's still a tt. Look at the second beat. Stung a man upon his knee. It's not a ta anymore. It needs to be changed to a tt. 1 more beat. Stung a man upon his knee. That's also a tt. T, 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 ta. You can finish writing the rhythm on a SeeSaw activity I will give to your teachers to share with you. You can write the whole rhyme. Give it a try and see how you do. 1 more thing before we go. This piece of music was written by a guy named Rimsky-Korsakov. Rimsky-Korsakov is from Russia, or he was from Russia. Here's Houston, Texas. Way over here is Russia. Now, this piece of music was actually written for an opera. You see, a lot of operas and ballets too are based on fairy tales. And in this fairy tale, there's a czar, he's like the king, and he has a son, he's like a prince. And one day he realized the prince was missing. Where is he? And he was so worried about him. He looked and looked and looked and looked. It ended up being taken out on a boat in the middle of the ocean. Well, it turns out the prince was fine. The prince shows up, realizes his father's gone. Now he's worried about his father, and he's way out in the middle of the ocean, and there's no airplanes. There's not a big fast speedboat that he can take. So how does he go check on his father? Well, this magic swan came and told the prince, I can help you. I can turn you into an insect, and you can fly out and meet your father. So the swan sings a song to the prince, and the prince turned into a bee. And that's where we get this piece of music. Take your pretend bee and move your pretend bee to the music. This is called Flight of the Bumblebee. We start up high. I hope to see you guys soon. Goodbye, first grade.